would you share with us who you are and where you come from and what you would like to hear from us today?
Stoney, the mayor of the city of Richmond. Many of you all heard about my early life growing up. My parents were teenagers when I was born. Mother was 16, father was 19. I was raised by my grandmother. I became the first person in my family to graduate from high school, even though I grew up on free and reduced lunch. Went to college at James Madison University. I said that purple. There you go. James Madison University was the first person in my family to graduate from college as well. After graduating from college, I moved to Richmond and started getting involved in politics and public service. As Ms. Gurley said, I worked on numerous amount of campaigns, started from the bottom, rose up, knocked on doors for a good period of time, just asking folks to get out and vote, working in very, very tough neighborhoods, and then steadily rose up the ranks to become ran the Democratic Party of Virginia when I was 26, and then started working for Terry McAuliffe, who's now our governor, when he was a private citizen back in 2010, and we got him elected governor in 2013, and he asked me to serve as the first African-American Secretary of the Commonwealth. While there, I worked on something very, very important to me. My father was a former offender as well, a person who had a felony on his record. And in Virginia, we punish felons for the remainder of their lives, even though they've really served their time. So I was able to work on the restoration of one's civil and voting rights. The governor, working in his administration, has restored more rights than any governor has in the history of the Commonwealth of Virginia, in the whole country, actually. So that was, I got to see that firsthand, and I thought, you know what, this is sort of impact I've always wanted to make on the lives of others, and I thought, what better way to do it than run for mayor of the city of Richmond? And so a lot of folks counted me out. They said I was too young. They said that some people thought maybe I didn't look the right way, wasn't from the right place, but we proved everyone wrong, and we won outright on November 8th. I've been in office now for 80 or so days. 90 days is coming here pretty soon, and I think we're off to a good start, focusing on improving the quality of our public education here in the city of Richmond, but also improving the lives of every child in the city. I think about our future, and I know that 40% of the children in the city live under the poverty line, and I think that in order to have a prosperous city in the future, you got to improve the lives of children. And so I'm working on that every single day, trying to change the culture in City Hall to be more accountable to the people who pay the taxes here. Your parents, not you guys just yet. But you guys will. And so your decision-making, your thoughts and ideas matter. And so that's why I'm here today. I'm here to hear from what you guys think how do you feel the city is moving along and how we can improve you guys' lives here in the city of Richmond. Because here's the thing, once you graduate from high school, you go off to college or community college, you may go somewhere else. You may stay here in the city of Richmond, but either way, I want you to come back, stay here. There are a lot of families, a lot of kids who graduate from high school here, who go off to college somewhere else, and they're coming back now because they think Richmond is cool again. And so I want to keep that going by keeping you guys here. Attend VCU or go to J. Sargent Reynolds or go somewhere else, but come back to Richmond. That's what I want. So with that.
So we have a couple different groups of students in this classroom. We have students who are AP US Virginia History students, and they have actually all written you a letter. So we haven't given you those letters yet, but we have them.
I didn't read it.
Yeah, not yet. We decided not to inundate you all at one moment. So
is that AP History?
That's, yes, AP US History. And then also an honors government class. And those are mostly senior students. Almost everyone here is in that group or is a special guest of an honors government student.
Yeah, I was an AP government student back in the day. So.
Someday I'm going to be an AP government teacher. But these kids are that caliber of student and would happily take an AP course. That being said, if you have something prepared, you recall, if there's a talking point that is important to you, something maybe you wrote about in your letter, would you mind asking questions? Or making a comment? Hopefully you know what's in your letter.
She already sealed hers.
I think we should have like better food.
You know, everywhere we go, Dr. Sapiti.
Yes.
Like food that's like,
Yeah.
like more nutritious, like, you know, fruits and vegetables. And
Like sausage on the stick. You know, like back they used to have that.
you know why that's the case though, right? Because there's like certain standards they want for you all, nutrition-wise.
Yeah.
Right? They want you to get fresh vegetables, fresh fruit. Things that may not taste good. It's not sausage on a stick, but it's going to ensure that it's healthy. But you don't like the healthy stuff. Right?
I mean, that could be a sad sausage.
A side. But bring back sausage on a stick.
Yeah, and the breakfast pizza.
The breakfast pizza, like Chick-fil-A or some chick sandwich.
That
The
would be
middle school
delicious.
pizza.
We should have one.
But you're seeing though, as a high school student, the standards have changed
Yeah.
because now the whole country's on a new, you know, everybody's on health care. Like when I was a kid, it was, you know, you could choose a hamburger every single day if you wanted to. You could eat hamburger every single day. But it's not good for you though.
For people to play well like you do on the basketball
See,
team.
exactly right. So for instance, you want to, let's talk about healthcare real quick, right? Eating the healthy stuff will allow you not to actually spend money on your healthcare. So it's called being preventative. So either you're going to pay for your healthcare on the back end or on the front end. I'd rather eat the fruits and vegetables on the front end and not have to be in the hospital on the back end. That's what they're trying to do for me. But I get it though. I get it. It doesn't mean it tastes good. Gotta have it though.
But just stuff.
Yeah, you gotta have it.
But don't you think that's a waste of money if students don't eat the food, the healthier food, and they just throw it away?
But I would say that the school board, Richmond Public Schools has a responsibility though not to feed you junk food as well, right? Like back in the day, I could just roll into the class and not ever eat the lunch and just eat like cinnamon buns and everything if I wanted to. Hey, I don't think that's a good thing looking back at it. I mean, kids eating cinnamon buns all day long, don't do anything, right? That's what we're trying to focus on. You know, we got food deserts here in the city of Richmond, right? Where you can't go to a grocery store, depending on what neighborhood you live in. That's not fair. That's not equitable. Or certain neighborhoods in the city have access to really good grocery stores, while other people are going to quick markets and gas stations to get good groceries. So you never ever experience, you know, fresh vegetables and fruits. And when I went to college, that was the first time I ever had a fresh vegetable in my life. Like, I can't remember, we ate canned goods every day. You know, corn was, 10 for $1. But when I got to college and it was like, yeah, here's the vegetables, you can have as much as you want. I said, wait, this fresh green beans? Never had it before. But looking back at it, that's what we need. We need to have that sort of, and here's the thing, I haven't had the lunch here. I maybe should come by and have lunch sometime.
Those of you who are getting ready to go off to college or the military in some cases in the fall, would you share with our guests and with our mayor any concerns that you have about how you're feeling right now? Are you feeling prepared? Are you feeling excited? Are you nervous? Where are you at right now?
And Ms. German, can I ask you
Yes.
real quick? How many plan to go off to college next year?
Oh,
Or how many plan to go to community college? How many plan to go to the military? How many plan to go get a trade or certificate, something like that? Okay. The whole class is Arkansas group.
When you attended James Madison, what did you major in?
Oh, I was a double major in public administration and political science.
And has that always been like your dream? Or is
Yeah,
that
ever since I was a child, I knew I wanted to be involved in, I guess, politics and government. When I was in, I believe I remember being in first grade, they make you check out like, Cat in the Hat and Dr. Seuss books. I wanted to check out like, the presidential biographies of every president. Even though I couldn't really read it, I just wanted to have it in my head, look at some of the pictures, pick up on it, whatever, and I tried to read every one of those books. And the library denied me initially, but then I kept on being a pest, and they let me check out those books. So ever since then, I was involved in student government when I was in elementary school, a student body vice president when I was in elementary school, student body president in middle school, student body president in high school, student body president in college. Also playing football and basketball, all that stuff as well. So it's always been a part of my, my being, basically.
So what's your like ultimate goal? Is it to be president or just where you are now?
I don't think, people walk into politics saying one day they can be president. I mean, I'm also, as a person who's worked behind the scenes before, I'm very practical about politics too. Like, being president is it's a lofty goal. It takes a lot of money to do that too as well. But my ultimate goal is do well here. My father always told me this: you do well at the job you have right now, you don't have to worry about the next job, right? Because that's what you're judged on in the record. So do well here, that'll open up so many doors and opportunities after that. So I do have my own goals and ambition, but doing well here, transforming the role of mayor in the city is my ultimate goal at the moment. How about you? You know what you want to major in?
Yes, I plan to attend Virginia State to study veterinary science.
Okay.
Eventually go off to Tuskegee or Virginia Tech to finish my major.
So you want to be a veterinarian?
Yes.
So you like animals?
I love animals.
So you know all the parts and anatomy and all that stuff?
Not all of them, but I'm currently learning them at Tech.
Okay. All right.
Besides knowing in elementary schools that you were in politics, what made you know for sure that when you went to college, that's what you were going to do and it was going to get hard, you were going to stick with it?
So yeah, when you go to college, a lot of folks, they change their major multiple times. They stay beyond 4 years. I knew I could not afford to stay beyond 4 years. Right? I'm still paying college loan debt today. So I knew I had to get it all done in 4 years. I said earlier, I was in AP government in high school, and I got a 5 on the test. You get 5 is the highest you can get. I got 5. I was the only person in my class to get a 5 on the AP government test, and that's when I knew this is what I need to be doing. So this is what I need to be doing. So I never wavered from that. I started out as a political science major solely. And then it was like, you have to take a language. And I was like, I don't know if I can do all the language stuff. And so I had enough credits to get the major, but I changed from political science major to a public administration major, which is what I do now, and focus more on accounting courses and economics and sciences instead of actually doing the language. I tried out Latin and I was like, this is not going to work. When you get into this major, political science or public administration or any of the liberal arts, they think that you want to be a lawyer one day. And so everybody tried to push me into going to law school. If you want to be a politician or elected official one day, you got to be an attorney. And I said, I don't want to practice law. Like, that's just not my thing. And I know a number of my friends now who did decide to go to law school. Think about how much college debt they have. They have, it costs $20,000, more than that. I know people who are $200,000 worth of debt because they went to law school and they don't practice the law. That's a lot of money. And they don't practice the law. They have another job in life. They just happen to have a Juris Doctor degree. But also, when you're thinking about choosing what you want to do in life, choose something that you're passionate about, right? I feel like I've never had to work a day in my life. My father was a custodian. He was a janitor at a local high school. And he worked hard every single day. He was a construction worker. He did landscaping. I remember one time he was a butcher at a grocery store. He did all sorts of odd-end jobs. He never graduated from high school, right? And he told me, one thing I don't want you and your brother, I don't want your hands to look like mine. They were beat up, they were calloused, they were blistered. He said, I don't ever want your hands to look like mine. And so I took education very seriously and went off to do something that I love and am passionate about. And people ask me all the time, they say, well, are you busy? Are you stressed out? Is the job too tough? It's like, this is nothing compared to walking in my dad's shoes, right? I'm blessed, I'm lucky. I've never dreaded going to work any day since I graduated from college. Even on the tough days, where I just knew that we were walking into a tough day, a bad day, never dreaded going to work. You all have to find what makes you tick. Right? College normally is where you find that niche in life. Like, this is going to be my niche. This is where I'm going to, this is where I'm going to drive my, this is going to drive my ambition, right? Like, folks get to college and they kind of just hang out and finally want to focus in the fourth year. But you got to find that thing that makes you tick, that passion. And so when you get a job afterwards, going to work is easy. I got a number of friends who have college degrees. You heard about my law friends, right? My legal friends. I got a number of friends who have college degrees who are miserable every single day because they're not doing something they're passionate about. Right? In college, you get to do what they call general education courses at the outset, in the beginning, and that stuff like bored me to death. I was like, oh my gosh, let's get to the major. When I started talking about global politics, and European politics, and political philosophy, and I was like, this is what I'm here for. You have to, when you get in college or whatever path you choose, you have to ask that question. This is what I'm, why am I here? I'm here to do this. And I feel like this is what I was meant for. So when I wake up in the morning, it could be 7 o'clock, which was a 7 o'clock morning today, my first event. I don't worry about it. I don't stress out about it. Get this. You find a thing you're passionate about, I guarantee you will definitely live longer as well. I think Dr. Sweeney absolutely right. I mean, Dr. Sweeney has the health background, so, but you will live longer finding something that you love and you're passionate about. And you don't have to be a multi-millionaire or something like that, right? You can be rich from the experience. That's what it's about. Like, people want to be millionaires, right? Everybody wants to be a millionaire. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with being a millionaire. But guess what? There are a lot of millionaires out there who are miserable. They're miserable.
And they know, like, I love driving around my awesome 2002 minivan. Like, I'm so excited about that. And I think many of my students see me as a role model, and they say I want to be a soccer mom like Mrs. Skirmer. But I do want to introduce you to, this is Mr. Hughes. He's a tutor within our school, and he has a question for you.
I received a call yesterday in terms of representing international student exchange. So I'm going to bring a lot of high school students from around the world to Richmond to study. I'm not sure exactly which high schools are prepared to receive them. Conversely, I would like Richmond high school students to study in countries around the world. And I don't know which direction or who to talk to in terms of getting this in place. Do you have any comments?
Have we done that before?
Yeah, international exchange programs, absolutely. Just
they're coming here.
Yeah, reach out to Dr. Kane's office. All that comes through Associate Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Andre Kane.
Kane.
K-A-N-E.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that's the easiest thing because we do that all the time. We have students, international students right now.
Good.
We have our students out overseas.
I think Kyrie has a question.
Hello, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning.
Well, you and I are both alike. We both grew up in politics. We both have worked with many political figures. My dream is to one day sit in your seat. And I was wondering, what steps do you think I should take to one day be the 80, I've been 80, thinking mayor of The next mayor, should I say.
Maybe like the 90th, I think.
Yeah, the 90s. The next mayor, should I say.
Yeah, the next. You know what? My number one, you gotta have. We talked about passion, right? All right, you got that, right? Then you gotta go out and get the experience. Some people think, you know, I had some friends who think that, you know, once they graduate from college, they can just walk out there and run for office.
That's a lie.
You can't do that. The people particularly want you to have some sort of experience, right? And so, learn about your craft first, right? I got to do that behind the scenes on political campaigns, right? Learning about the craft, honing the craft, knowing what to do and not to do. I was a first-time candidate last year, but I was ahead of the. I think I was ahead of the rest of the contingent because I knew, and I had to step away because I knew how to strategize and I knew how to run a campaign. But you have to let other folks do that. You have to be the candidate. So you have to learn your craft, pay some taxes. It's true, like, you know, folks don't want you just walking out here and, you know, you've never paid any taxes in your life and you've been planning on representing all these people. So that's what you got to do, I think. You got to, you know. Also, I would say find a mentor as well. Find a mentor. Hey! We'll exchange emails or something like that.
Thank you, sir. Let's say, so I can say I'm on the right track. I work with numerous campaigns. I can't name them all. I work with.
Are you involved in student council here, student government?
Yes, I am to a certain extent. Like I said, campaigns I work with, example, your former boss, Terry McCullough. When they said he wasn't going to win, he was supposed to be down by 5 points. He ended up winning by 6 points. Hallelujah. But it was, so you said I'm on the right track with all the experience.
I think you're on the right track. What college you plan on going to?
VCU for the government program.
Okay.
Jump right into my field.
So you're a senior this year?
I'm a senior this year.
I'm looking for something. Here's the thing: when you get to college as well, or even if you're as a high school senior, I'm always looking for every office I've ever run. I've always looked for interns, and so I'm looking for people who want to come do internships and get a first-hand view of city government. Okay, what's
Talk after this. We're gonna work something out.
Gotcha. Okay.
I love you. I love you already.
Talk to me already. Right over there.
I have another question.
Y'all just dominating the conversation.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to. I can tell you're very outgoing.
You said that you were the first in your family to graduate from high school, so I assume you're the first in college as well?
Yes.
Was it hard being a first generation student?
It is. It's hard. I mean, it's. When I went off to James Madison, which was about 3 hours away from home, and you know, when you get there were some of my friends who were also first generation graduates. They were like, you know what? I am going home. I'm going back to Hampton Roads. I'm going back to Northern Virginia. I'm going back to Richmond, where I know my people, and I kind of thrived in the environment of being challenged, right? A lot of the people who were in those classes, just like similar to high school, did not look like me, right? They didn't look like me. And I'm a very, very competitive person. I don't wear it outwardly, but I compete internally with myself. And so, but being able to compete internally with yourself also means you can compete with anyone in the room. My dad told me that, you know, you don't need to walk around with a chip on your shoulder, but walk into the room to compete. And so I saw it all as one big competition, right? The folks want to throw up roadblocks. I didn't have as much in terms of, you know, money as some of my classmates did and whatnot, but I knew I could get in that classroom and compete with them when it came to education. And so I felt like I thrived in that sort of environment.
And coming from your background, going into college, you said that you took out loans for school. Was that a scary step, like taking out?
No, I think it was a necessary step. You know, I look at my brother who is in the military. And I remember him saying, I don't want to have any loan debt. And I'm thinking, no loan debt means no degree. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't, you know, leave college with, you know, $100,000 worth, you know, in student loans. But I knew I had to pay for my own college, right? My dad took out a loan, the initially in the first year, the FAFSA. And then after that, I filled out my own FAFSA forms. Remember, they knew nothing about college. And my dad knew nothing about college. He didn't know anything about, I said, Dad, give me W-2. I'm going to get this thing done. So every beginning of every year, I always had the FAFSA in and got scholarships and money to, I got half my school, my tuition paid for by being student body president. I didn't, trust me, going into college, I didn't know that was going to happen. But by winning that office, they paid for half my tuition the last 2 years because I was student body president twice. Didn't think that was going to happen. I thought I was going to have to, I was recruited to play football at different schools. I thought that was the route that I needed to go pay for college. Instead, doing what I'm passionate about ended up being the way to help me pay for college. You have to, Chris said, some folks will tell you, oh, don't go unless you can get it paid for or whatever, all the way paid for. Take that, get to find the subsidized loan. I think you gotta put it together.
Seems like a good opportunity, Yvonne. I promise you, right? You're coming. You're right here. You're next. You're on deck. So Future Center. We have Mr. Tracy Brower downstairs in the Future Center. I've seen just in my 3 years here at WIT an incredible uptick in the amount of students who are both signing up for the FAFSA and applying to colleges, and my hand hurts. It's like I'm working back at Maggie Walker signing all these recommendation letters.
Good.
It's great. And that being said, most of these kids are beneficiaries of that, and I just thought it was great. I'm glad we had that Office of Community Wealth Building, that Tad Williamson was there, and I appreciate this new thing that you have, this Policy Advisor for Opportunity. Is it similar to the Community Wealth Building office?
Well, we have the Community Wealth Building office.
Yes. Okay, so it's still.
Oh, but he's a senior policy advisor to me, the mayor. So I'm a senior policy advisor for innovation, for engagement, and for opportunity.
Awesome.
So
And did you create those?
Yes.
Yeah. That was
So,
beautiful.
Dr. Williamson here is also a professor at University of Richmond. So if you guys think about University of Richmond, you might want to talk to Dr. Williamson. But he's the architect of the Office of Community Wealth Building, which is our poverty reduction program here in the city. And he's also a policy advisor to me as mayor. So, thank you, Dr. Wilson, for joining us today.
To answer your question, Reggie Gordon is our director of the Office of Community Wealth Building. And he came over from the American Red Cross, which is a big, basically coup for the city of Richmond. And obviously, Mayor Stoney thinks highly of him, but the staff is still intact and is projected to grow with the new budget. And
we added $500,000 in the current budget to the Office of Community Wealth Building.
Well, we felt the impact, and it's been really positive.
And the future centers will be funded again for next year. And the hope is, to be able to expand it, get down to middle school level, maybe look more at scholarship to grasp other things.
How many have you all gone down to the Future Center? You don't know where it is?
I said, nah.
Well, we gotta get you down there.
Can somebody take them down
Escort that man down.
there? Well, one more thing y'all should know is University of Richmond is tuition free
Yes.
below, if your family income is below a certain level, which is higher than you might think. It's actually, I'll just tell you, 60,000. If your family income is below 60,000, and you can get into University of Richmond, you can go for free for 4 years.
Go for free. People don't know that. It's private school, yes.
Yeah.
You can go for free if your family's household income is less than $60,000.
And you're a Virginia resident.
And you're
which you are.
Virginia, what you are.
Yeah.
So you got good grades, been involved and active.
Yeah, you are. It's very useful.
And you are a great school too. Jamie's better. But
Oh, my question.
I forgot.
My question is, they, with the Future Center stuff, they pushed us to find scholarships and stuff. Was it easy for you to find scholarships since you were a first generation graduate from high school and college, or was it?
it was not easy. For being a student, it takes a lot of time to go out. And, I got all the information. People just would throw information at you, which it can be overwhelming as a first generation college student, right? Like, just like, you don't even know where to begin. I wish I could just like complete one master application and send it to everybody, and then put me up, let me compete that way. But filling out these separate ones was very, I didn't have a computer at home, right? That was also a barrier for me. Like, people were submitting their college applications. This is back, this was 1999, and we didn't have a computer at home. And so I filled everything out by hand and sent it in. That was the barrier for me back then. The barrier for a lot of people today is they don't have internet at home, right? So it was very difficult. Once I got in the swing of things and completed the FAFSA, I was in competition for some of the scholarships at the university was rewarded. I'm on the board of an organization called GRASS. There's a GRASS advisor here. Yeah. So I'm on the board of that organization, and we help with that. Right? They're at the Future Centers too, right? With helping you find scholarships, helping you complete your FAFSA on time with the proper information, so you can get into that pool and compete for those dollars to get you in college. I never worried about getting to college. I got that. My worry was staying in. Am I going to have a job all 4 years? I did not work my first year. My second year, I decided to be a resident advisor, an RA. And then I told you the last 2 years, student government paid for my tuition. So I found a way to piece it together. Here's the thing, you will find a way to piece it together. It builds resiliency, I think, right? You have to be resilient in this process. Folks are going to throw up these barriers, these mountains, and your job is to knock down the mountain, go around the mountain, go underneath the mountain, go above the mountain. You're going to do it. You can do it. Don't panic. Just think about your plan. Don't give up.
After your term of being the mayor, what do
I just started. I mean, yes, it's that decision is 7 years away. There's a couple of jobs out there that would be enticing, but right now I think I got the best job in the state. That's right.
We're very glad you're there.
What are some of your plans of making the city better?
So now we get into my questions here. Well, on March 6th, I submitted my first budget as the mayor. And looking at that budget, it covers my priorities. One is public education. And so in that budget, I actually proposed an additional $6.1 million on top of the budget that Richmond City Schools received last year. That is the largest investment in public education by any mayor in this form of government. All right? That $6.1 million is for salary increases for teachers and this girl. Right?
It's cool, I love you.
Right? So that's my number one priority. We're working on, we have what we call an education compact that we're working on with the school board, the city council, my office. When you read the newspaper, I think the newspaper loves to highlight the negativity about Richmond Public Schools. But they're never in the classroom with me like I with you all today, seeing children in this school system who are making the grade despite the obstacles that they may face. I'm here to highlight and celebrate success of Richmond students, their families and their parents, and the teachers. I'm not here to dwell on the negative. We know we got to do better, but we're going to do better, working together. And that's what the Education Compact, I think, is our vehicle for that success. It's a shared agenda by the city council people that you elect, school board members, and your mayor, working together with education outcomes. So education, obviously a priority. Number 2, public safety. Fighting crime in the city. We've had a slight uptick in crime, particularly in certain neighborhoods. The crime that we see around the city is centered around the cities that are experiencing deep poverty, which is another problem, which is another priority of mine in community well building. And so they're all, everything intersects. Folks, when you go to college, studies sociology as well, because it's a good foundation for politics and government. All this, it all intersects. At the core in Richmond, our number one problem is that a quarter of our residents live under the poverty line. Right? You may still have a job, but that doesn't mean that job doesn't make you middle class. You can be working poor as well. So how do we find good paying jobs, give our residents the proper skills necessary to compete in this 21st century economy? That's what our community wealth building efforts are all about. Lastly, core services. Transforming City Hall. People don't know that, well, people experience it themselves, that we are 4 years behind on sidewalk maintenance, right? Yeah, I've seen it, I saw it, yeah. Sidewalk maintenance. We don't repair your alleys right now. The potholes everywhere. We don't pave streets. We patch them in. I can go through a whole litany of things that we don't do well. We don't pick up people's leaves. Right? It is March 23rd, and leaves are still on the ground in Richmond, Virginia. That, to me, that standard is unacceptable, particularly when your parents pay a pretty penny to live in the city. It's not cheap to live in the city of Richmond, which means you deserve amazing service. You deserve people who, when you call City Hall, you get an answer. Not disrespect, not an attitude. That's the sort of service that I'm focusing on trying to deliver. And we're not there yet. This is about getting better every single day. People say, well, you ran on change, why don't you just fire everybody? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It has to be about incremental change every single day. Improvement, progress. That's what this is about. That will create change. So every day, we wake up, Thad and all my team, Brandon's here, Tyler's here, Dr. Stoney's on the team as well. We wake up every single day to focus on creating a win for our residents, right? Who wakes up in the morning and want to be average, mediocre? Raise your hand. And I didn't think so. We wake up trying to be excellent for the people who put us in this place, right? We're not going to be 100% perfect. We are going to give excellent effort to our jobs. And that has not been the standard in the past. The standard has been mediocrity. It's been average. Well, I want to be more than average. I want to be excellent. And think about that add that to your personal lives as well, right? You all want to wake up every day, not come in here and just do the job halfway as a student, right? Walk out of here with 62s and 59s. Right? No, you don't want to do that. You want to be excellent. The goal is to get as close to 100% as possible, right? And so that means you also have to surround yourself with excellent people who have the same standard.
Walk with the wise. Walk with the wise.
If a person doesn't have that standard, right? You will surround yourself with people who have just as much to lose as you do. So hanging out with people who have a whole lot less to lose. Why would you do that? Right? That's like me hanging around. I want to hang around with people who have 100, who are down with the 100%, not with 50%. Folks who are just, I don't really care less. I don't want that. I don't want those folks around me. I want folks who care about who they are, what they're doing, what their future looks like. That's what this is about. Surround yourself with excellent people. People who care about you. Here's the thing. Folks who have a standard of just being average, they may not care about you. Think about that. Surround yourself with folks who care about you. Look, you're about to have a question. Is that a, what's that, is that a?
Oh, I have a little cold.
Oh, you do? Okay, gotcha.
As far as George Wythe goes, I've only been a student here for a couple months. It's my first full year being in the city. And
your thoughts? Where are you coming from, number one?
Around a lot of places. I've been to Manchester High School, James River High School, some schools in Georgia, stands, I know that the Richmond Public School buildings are old and dilapidated.
Disrepair.
Severely, yeah. What do you plan to do to sort of maybe boost morale and just improve the lives of everyone who comes into the building?
Well, first it starts with doing what I'm doing right now, right? Showing up, being present, being visible. In the past, I think folks have not, they knew who the mayor was in name, didn't really know who the mayor was, right? And I thought, I made it my goal to visit every single school. This today is my 13th school. And it's only been not even 90 days yet. So that's my number one, being present. And as I said earlier, celebrating the successes of our students and not allowing the Times-Dispatch, ABC, NBC to write the story, drive the narrative about Richmond Public Schools, right? Number two, working with, my job is to work with my school board teammates, right? Not to have this, the newspaper, the media would rather write about conflict than write about collaboration and cooperation. And we're changing that. I tell every one of them, I've sat down with all 9 of them and said, like, no, this has to be about us working together. Because y'all don't win when we fight, right? Y'all look at the TV or look at the newspaper and you're like, I don't even know what they're doing. That's why I don't like, I like them, but that's why I could never really want a job in D.C. in Congress. Right? They don't do anything, right? They don't do anything up there. At least here, we get to do something at the local level. And so the buildings is, I've said to Dr. Sapini and others, I said, the biggest decisions that they'll have to make will involve what we're going to do with our current stock of buildings in the city. We all know that they're in disrepair. The biggest decision they have to make is they have 44 schools that they operate, facilities that they operate. But we only have 24,000 students roughly. And so they have to make a really, really tough decision on, do we have too many school buildings? And could we use that money for those school buildings in the classroom instead? And maybe build more, better buildings, right? We shouldn't be moving you out of your dilapidated building into another building that's dilapidated, right? We gotta have a plan for newer facilities and move you from the dilapidated facility into a newer facility. That should be the goal. But here's the thing, it's not gonna happen overnight, right? People think we can have new schools tomorrow. It's not gonna happen overnight. But what I request is that our students and their parents, number one, hold us accountable. Number two, give them the courage to do the tough, to do what the job requires, right? It's not easy being an elected official because you're thinking about, I don't know, if I do this person may be mad at me. If I do this person may not talk to me again. But you gotta make tough decisions though, right? And that's why I've been calling out all the stuff that we've ignored for many, many years. And I gotta say, the maintenance of our buildings is something that we've ignored for a very long time. We got one of the oldest stock of buildings in Virginia, or our public schools. Some are nearly 100 years old. So think about how much it costs to keep a 100-year-old house warm or cold. Just the cost of doing something like that. That's money. And so we have to ask the question, do we want to focus on getting all better devices in the classroom so you can compete with the kids in Enrico and Chesterfield? Or do you want to keep on paying heating costs at 44 schools? Tough decision. But as I told them in the past, I got their back.
One thing that's really significant what Mayor Stoney just said, because from his seat, the question you asked very specifically about something going on in school, it would be easy for him to say, not my business. Kick it to school board, kick it to school administration, let them deal with it, because he's got a lot of other things. Or alternatively, which we've also seen, he could have said, push you out of the way, let me make the decision. he's not talking about either. He's trying to talk about we got to work together. And schools is central to everything mayor's trying to accomplish. But the school board and administration are the ones who have to make the actual decisions, but then the city in turn has to pay for it. So that's why all have to work together and collaborate. And my experience is Mr. Jefferson can attest to Mr. Jefferson had a role in creating teacher centers as well. 9 times out of 10, you can get something done or solve a problem, for a big problem, just talk. We haven't had the right process to make that happen on a regular basis.
I think I was talking to Fairfield Court Elementary School, and I was like, who runs the schools? And the answer was Dr. Bedden, who's the superintendent, but they all said the mayor. But the Code of Virginia dictates that the authority in operating the public schools in the city belongs to the school board, which Dr. Stoney sits on. My job, though, is to, as I said, drive the narrative and lead the conversation, I think, as the mayor of the city and the chief executive officer.
It seems important to say too, you guys, Ms. Green always asks me, Mrs. Germer, if you come with a problem, would you also come with a solution? So, and I appreciate that about her, and I think that maybe as we're thinking about listing the problems, you know, the food, we don't like it, the building is falling apart, it would be cool, you guys, if we also started developing some solutions together and proposing those along with the problems.
Girl, that is so right, even at this level, because, you know, it's easy to complain and pick out the problems, Barry. I mean, that's a great thing about me. I don't know the great thing about the media, but that's what they do. It's easy to highlight their problem, but the media is not reporting, not providing prescriptions. That's not what they do. It's our job to be solution-oriented. And I don't want to surround my folks who all they want to do is harp on the problems and negativity. I want to surround my folks with folks who are solutions-oriented. All right, we got a problem? Tell me what the solution is. You don't have a solution? We can't talk.
I can real quickly respond. If you go on the school system website and do a search for option 5, you'll see the complete facilities plan that was worked through with the previous school board, all the recommendations, which schools recommend closing, which schools recommend renovation, and how much it would cost, which is an exorbitant price tag, which there's no way, as Stoney said, if we wanted to do it tomorrow, it would be impossible to implement that plan. So it really, Dr. Williams talked about, lots of pieces have to work together to make this thing work over a time frame. And I think that plan actually extends up 20 years.
Self-select.
So I think the people that we have here, like in this room, we are solution oriented. I think our issue is getting the message to the majority of the school who isn't solution oriented. And I wanted to know if you had any tips or with us being the minority group, how to get the message across.
So I was asked, so what do you think about the majority? The majority doesn't care? They're apathetic about it?
That's what I think.
Is what I'm unaware? So they,
It's like 20% unaware, 80% don't care.
I feel like.
And
They're very
our teachers and staff are usually busy with other stopping more problems from being created rather than helping find solutions. So we don't, like, the ones that are solution oriented don't really have the help they need. As students, we can't just go say, oh, Miss Green, we're gonna skip this class so we can go clean the yard. Can't do that. We still need our grades. And we can't just stay after school when we want to. We need someone that will be there to help us. And we can't just pick a teacher out of her class or his class. So we don't have that help that we need.
and do you believe that the apathetic majority, do they listen to, who do they listen to?
No,
Nobody. They're very
It's hard.
They don't listen to you all? They don't listen to their teachers or
They
something?
listen to each other, but what they listen to is the wrong message. They listen, oh, let's go do this, that, and the third, but the things that they listen to and that they want to do, it's not the right thing to do. But when they hear the right thing to do, it sounds different to them. They don't want to do this.
Foreign.
It's a foreign language. I think that's.
But so where do you think that starts? Who gets that message to them then?
That's, I think the issue is
It's-
how
it's
you
not-
get
Oh,
there.
so normally, so normally, that message is carried by what the parents, right? Right. Your parents are the ones who make sure you go to school, make sure you don't act up in school. And normally there's consequences they need to do, right? I mean, for me, that was always the case. It was the reinforcement piece. Like, I was getting a good education in the classroom, and then even though I had a dad and a grandmother who didn't graduate from high school, they knew that education was the ticket for me. And so I had that reinforcement at home, where they were like, you know what? We are going to hear about you getting in trouble at school, and we will do something about it at home. But it sounds like you're saying to me, that reinforcement is absent.
It is.
Yes.
I remember, what comes to mind is when Miss Green, she scheduled, it was a breakfast, and families, like parents were supposed to show up, and my mother and I were the only family to show out of all the students. So I think the parents aren't as involved in what goes on in the school as they should be.
Yeah, and I think over time, some of our staff, and Ms. Green, you can probably also chime in here as well. Over time, particularly in our community, and there was a time where families were always involved. Not just your family, because your neighbor was involved too. Like, you're not in school, we will make sure you get to school. But now I think we're seeing a decaying, I think, in that, that responsibility, not just for your child, but for everybody's child. Do you guys agree? Yes.
Mr. Cox let me know that it is 10:30 and this is when the mayor is needing to leave. That being said,
Well, the next thing's not until 11:30, right?
We have a little bit of time.
I can take 15 more minutes, right?
are you,
You have an office day.
I do?
so, that being
10
said,
minutes then?
okay. You tell us what you like, I just want
10
to
more minutes.
let you know that there are refreshments. I'm excited
We
to
just want to take
share.
a group picture.
So, but you call it.
I feel like with what George was saying, I feel like it also goes with communication. Because my mom always tells me miscommunication leads to complications. We also don't get like a lot of stuff out to communities, and a lot of people don't know what's going on to be involved to help. And
So
I
you're
feel
saying
like
that we as a government,
no,
collectively?
like just in general in school, out of school, government, non-government, I feel like we should do more of telling than just one person knows and then somebody else doesn't know. Like with the breakfast thing, I didn't know about that, and my mom always wants to be involved in school. But then like it's like last minute stuff, or not everybody knows what's going on or not.
So here's what I know. I only assume that your parents are like my parents were like. Folks who who have jobs. Some have 2 jobs. And so a last minute schedule, I'll admit, my dad really never really came to any of my parent-teacher conferences. Now, that didn't mean he didn't care, because he obviously did. But he just couldn't make it. What we have to do, I think, as a community, get back to a place where you may not be able to show up for this, but you've got to show that you care about what your child's doing in the classroom and out the classroom. We have to find ways, solutions to create that, right? That's the only way I think we're going to get results. How do we hold some of the parents accountable too? That's the difficult part about government, because our job is to provide prescriptions, but you can't make people do anything, right? This is not a dictatorship. We can only say, this is what you should be doing. We can't make you do it, right? You want your kids to go to college? Then maybe we need you to do the following 25 things. We can't make you do those things. You can lead a water, that's an old country. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right?
You guys could be the voices to kind of tell the other students, and even your parents especially, about different things coming up that they may forget. And I've taken on the challenge of really supporting and enhancing the PTA. And so really every month we meet and we have different programs that's scheduled for you guys. But if you guys don't come, whether you, your parents, or teachers, then you won't know.
What do you think we can do though to connect more with the parents of not of the folks in this classroom, but of the people you said might be apathetic? What can we do more of?
Maybe
You
like,
guys are got some dying answers here.
I was thinking like, what do you think of community events? Like getting communities together to talk and also do things so communities can meet each other, kind of interact with each other and learn about each other.
Not just like, people who, so different neighborhoods beyond, that's what you're talking about, okay.
Kind of get people together, so it's not like, oh, you're from this neighborhood, you're from that neighborhood, I don't know you, or I don't want to know you, or it's hostile. Maybe get them together so they can learn about each other, kind of come together. Right.
I think being more present, like you came to the school, but our parents can't hear the conversations going on. So like he was saying, like getting out into the community, being more present in the city, not just like at schools, but going to local restaurants, finding out problems there, maybe trying to help them, talking to different people, just being present in different communities, not just the schools. Because we have a lot of peers with the mindset that I'm only going to school because I have to, or they're going to send my mom to jail, or, most people are like, oh, well, I only come here for insurance, they're going to get my mom, if not. So, people don't come to school because they don't want to. Maybe if we meet them in the community and get the word to them, they'll understand more.
Or like we were talking about for parents, like community newsletters or papers, because everybody check their mail. You could have like, when he was saying like community get-togethers or something, you could put something in the mail saying, oh, well, we're all having to get together at so-and-so at such and such time. Because every parent has to check the mail if it's for a bill or just for anything. That way they can know.
But even if they check the mail and see it, they might just see it, and that extra shit, throw it away.
That's true too, but I'm saying just so they know. And we're relaying the messages up to them, whether they want to come or not. Like you said, we can't force them, but they know about it.
But another problem we run into with these community activities, funding. Can't just go out there passing out papers. No one wants more papers. Sure, there's enough clutter in people's houses. We don't have the funding to have community activities necessarily. So funding would be another.
Also, you can't think like, oh, well, I told them, so that's it. I mean, if they don't know, that's their fault.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure that they know. You gotta care that they know.
I think there was something like that, you have to be more up in their faces about it, like knocking on doors and stuff, instead of just putting something in the mail or making an announcement. Because people can see information as easily as they can.
But even if you knock on the door, they may be at work or out doing other things, so.
There's a notice on the door. Always.
It's kind of like,
You had your hand raised.
Okay.
So we're gonna build this downtown by Church and Chicken, empty building. I feel like we should do something with those, like make a bunch of programs for students to go to. Probably have like little bus and pick up people.
Like after school programs for?
Yes, they'll solve a lot of these problems.
I said, or weekend programs, because a lot of kids are doing everything on the weekends.
Yeah, and it'll stop the violence. Not stop the violence, but like it'll keep them from doing what they're doing. Because usually kids do stuff, or people do stuff when they're bored. So if they're not bored, then they'll be doing some productive stuff.
And you can.
Do you feel like there's a lot for a young man or a young woman to do when they're not in school?
No.
Yes.
I mean, a lot has like something productive to do.
No.
Not now, but we can make it.
Richmond
we
doesn't
start,
have
like-
any community
like
programs
youth?
that are free. Like, the YMCA had a program this past summer where students could come in for free, and it got a lot of kids out of the community. It got them just even exercising. I mean, we talk about childhood obesity in the city, and the YMCA participated in helping with that. And if Richmond had more projects or activities for kids to do
So
that.
after school programs, summer programs, weekend programs.
Yeah.
I was thinking like youth leadership programs, like where the youth got involved and started something on their own and got others.
You know, we have a Mayor's Youth Academy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You heard about that, right?
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Deadline's the 24th.
Maybe.
Tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the deadline to apply for Mayorship Academy. Do it online. Future Center.
You're holding your hand up, right? But the rest.
Still a little tired. I think that, because earlier you were talking about the leaf collection thing. I think that we can somehow incorporate that with youth advocacy, activism, and stuff like
That's what
that.
we've been talking about. I was on TV yesterday talking about that with the city, with our city councilman, Mike Jones, and he said, like, you know, I'm asking now for people to actually bag their own leaves because we just don't pick them up. And so there are going to be some people out there who are seniors who are going to need their leaves to be bagged. And that's where we can get schools, high school students, middle schools, to help rake people's yards and bag those leaves. That sort of youth effort right there.
Yeah, I think that the problem would be more like transportation, getting around. Because some people, they don't have like cars and stuff at home.
You think people would do that though on a weekend? And it's like, you know, we're going to go help somebody out. We're going to go help out this woman who's 78 years old and she can't bag her own
I
leaves.
feel like if this is
Like I think people in this room would do it, but it's you go as a kid that's in the hallway, they really don't care about opening themselves.
Or should kids are heartless these days? You know? If you don't give them an incentive, I guess, you know.
it'll take a lot of like moving a very large boulder down the hill. No, if it's going up the hill, it's gonna go back down.
Now, money talks with these kids. Money talks. If you offer them an incentive, you can get a little more volunteers, but if you just ask for the pure volunteerism, you ain't gonna get much.
That's Walmart saying, I'll pay you to go.
I understand that, but there's something gotta be.
We can offer
Did
community
you have-
service hours.
You gotta be money, there's something to get.
Did you have something?
Yeah, I went to Longman University, and one weekend a year, they have this thing called the Big Event, where they do fundraising for different charities for cancers and stuff. And they also have a weekend where they go around the community in Farmville and help out the elderly with their yard work and any maintenance stuff that they need. And they're volunteer drivers that drive the students.
I'm working on something, right? That
Yeah, we're fine.
working on
We're
it.
get there.
Well, there's a lot of hands still up, and I do have to go back and run the city. I wish I could stay here all day because I really could, but I gotta go back and run the city. So I really appreciate you guys being open and honest